If you've been thinking about buying a new house in Idaho, well, thanks to these new tariffs, it may have become a little bit more expensive and a little bit more difficult. So in this video, I'm going to break down how these tariffs may have affected buying a house, selling your current house, and what kind of look out for, and maybe a couple of tips of advice if you're thinking about buying or selling. Hey there, I'm Iker Serna, a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Idaho, and I've helped several families just like you both buy and sell. If you're looking to talk real estate or kind of looking to make a move, I'd love to connect with you. All my information is down below. I'd love to talk to you. So as you may have heard in the news, I'm sure you've probably seen in a couple different other videos, tariffs were enacted by the U.S. government yesterday. I do think they won't be fully enacted until April 9th, so I'm not quite sure when this will be uploaded. But I just kind of want to start to see how these tariffs will affect the housing market here in Southern Idaho. But I kind of want to start first with explaining what a tariff is, because there may be some confusion and you may not know, because I myself was a little bit confused on the subject as well. A tariff is a charge for importing goods into America. And I'm going to give you an example that we'll talk about throughout this whole video, and that would be lumber. A large portion of our lumber comes from Canada. And if we bought it for X amount of dollars, in order to get it from Canada into the United States, we would have to pay a 25% tariff. That tariff is then collected by the U.S. government. And that extra cost that Canada would be paying, they're not just going to say, oh, we'll pay it, we'll cover it. That will be paid for whoever's purchasing that product. And that's multiple different products from across the world. So a good example of why this would affect a home buyer is exactly lumber, steel, and those type of products, because those products are used to produce and make housing. Another example of why this could affect home buyers would be appliances. Those are usually made in other countries and then shipped to the United States as well. So that's going to be a big thing that the home buyers are a big expense that those home buyers are going to have to probably absorb. So one of the big issues that I feel like is going to happen in Southern Idaho is going to be probably with new construction. A lot of the materials that we're importing to build these new constructions are probably going to go through the roofs. Lumber in particular, and like I said, appliances. Lumber, steel, aluminum, all of those are probably going to be marked up those are imported from other countries. I think the idea of these tariffs, and this is kind of what I'm gathering, and if you feel different than I do, that's great. Go ahead and leave those in the comments. The idea would be that if we charge other countries more, that we would be more self-sufficient and that America would then produce these products. But the problem is some of these products America can't produce, or we're at capacity. We can no longer produce any more lumber. And we have so many homes that are being produced that we need to get that lumber from other countries. We'll see how that shakes out and if that's as effective as people believe it's going to be. But the biggest thing is how these increases will be passed on to the consumer. And that's what kind of scares me about the market now is if there's a 25% increase in lumber, then that means there's going to be a 25% in new construction. New construction is already kind of hit out of the park, which is going to get less buyers into the market, which is then going to have an effect on how many houses are sold and how these builders are producing houses. Another issue that I think is not just new construction, but some of these like home renovations. If you're selling a house, a lot of people want to renovate the bathroom so they could then get a better price for their house, and like the countertops, the toilets, and all the materials to do that renovation are now going to have an upcharge as well, which means those renovations are going to be priced out, which means they're not going to get done, which means that those houses may or may not get those renovations and their sellabilities become, less likely to do so. And this makes like your budget-friendly bathroom just that harder to do. Like people want to, we're just going to spend $1,000 and going to update the bathroom. But if that $1,000 isn't stretched the way it used to, it's going to be harder to get those little renovations, which then help your price of your home go up. So I myself, we're just all getting this information and seeing how it's playing out today. I don't even know if it might be 3 or 4 months before some of these things really hit us hard and we kind of see the effect in the market. But I reached out to 2 local builders here in town to see kind of what their plan is and how they're feeling. And both of them say, if these prices go up, then we're going to be forced to pass this on to the consumer. They're not going to absorb these costs. They can't. They're in the business to make money and sell homes. So if their prices go up, then ultimately the bottom line is that the house prices are going to go up. And I think that's the scary. I've got this from 2 separate builders here in town. That's kind of their plan. So take that as you will. And that may not necessarily be negative if we do get, I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. Maybe it could make bidding wars even harder. Like if it could make the house prices go up even more, and with unaffordability and the rates not really going down, it could get really crazy. And interest rates, I'm going to put the current interest rates up here somewhere in a graphic. I'm going to see if I can find that and get that information here. They're already like 6.25 to 7%, give or take, this month. And if the increase of home prices goes up and the interest rates doesn't seem to fluctuate, that's going to price so many people out of the market, which makes home affordability even scarier and harder to come by. So this might be a terrible thing for the housing market. But I'm curious what the consumer, if you're looking for a house or if you're in the housing market, what are your thoughts? Are you freaked out? Are you holding back? Comment down below if you're in this. Okay. So I don't want to kind of be all negative and doom and gloom. I kind of wanted to give some pieces of advice if you are in the housing market or you do need a home. I do believe that people are still going to continue to buy and sell homes. And I do think that new construction is really popular in this area. I think we've seen kind of a boom, but that's my opinion. So I wanted to give a couple pieces of advice if you are shopping or considering shopping in the next couple of months. And I'm going to start with buyers, is I would consider fixer-uppers over new construction. New construction is great, but I think I think we're going to see a huge increase in the new construction for a little while, and then they're going to have to adjust. That's just personal opinion. So if you need something in the short term, you need something within the next month, I would maybe consider a fixer-upper and try to get the bargain there, because everything's going to be done. You're not going to have to worry about fencing. You're not going to worry about landscaping and that type of stuff. So maybe open up your options to just from new construction to already done houses as well. And if you are a seller, I would probably try to get some of those projects done. If your house is a little bit older and you need those roofing projects, I would not wait any longer. If you have a quote to get that roof fixed or get that bathroom done, I would try to lock that in today and try to get those done, because those prices are probably going to start turning and probably start getting more expensive within the next 3 or 4 months. So if you can get those projects done and get those things kind of worked on, that way you can present your listing to be the best and fixed and ready for a new buyer, I'd get those done as fast as possible too. Now is the time to kind of act. That's kind of my advice overall is maybe you should stop kind of waiting for things to kind of level out and kind of act and make a plan. And if you want to talk about a plan and kind of get your house on the market, I'd give me a call. Ultimately too, I would not panic yet. I think these things are kind of playing out in a way that nobody really knows what's going to happen. Anything could happen. These tariffs could be recalled. These tariffs could turn up being a great thing, and we could start getting more American manufacturing going, which would be great. More American jobs, more things like that, which could have a great effect. Economists are kind of all over the place. I think most economists, if you were to look on YouTube right now, they probably say that these are going to be a negative effect. I can't really tell locally what that's going to affect. I think Idahoans have a lot of pride in American-built products, but also Idahoans are very price conscious, and they want to get the best price for whatever, and that's everybody. So if we can get a cheaper price from Canada, whether it's produced in America or not, we're going to get that with the tariff or not, which that price is going to be passed on. So I guess we'll see how everything goes. I am very curious how the average consumer is considering this and what they're thinking. So if you want to leave a comment, I would love to engage with you. And please, if you give this video a like and maybe share it with somebody, I'm trying to grow on my channel. So I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys next time.